Our second guest speaker is Federal Member of ISACS, Shadow Attorney General and Shadow Minister for National Security from Australian Labor Party. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on Mark Dreyfus.
Thanks very much, and I would also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'll just see if I can put this up a bit. That's better, I can see you. This proposal from the federal government is a ridiculous piece of legislation. It's called the Australian Citizenship Strengthening the Requirements Bill, and it's absurd to suggest that we need to strengthen the requirements for Australian citizenship. I'm here to say very simply to everybody here, Labor is firmly opposed to this bill, and will join with you, all of you, in making sure that it does not pass through the Australian Parliament. It's a bill which, as you've heard from Dalal, would put in a requirement that you have university level English in order to become an Australian citizen. That is an absurd proposition. It's absurd because most Australians do not have university level English. So why should it be a requirement for people who come here, many of them from non-English speaking countries, that in order to become a citizen, to join in a community where most people in the community don't have university level English, why should it be made a requirement that you pass such a test before you can become a citizen? And why, I would ask, is it necessary to add 3 years of permanent residency to the requirement to become a citizen? The government is dressing this up. It's said that it is needed for national security. And you can pierce through that particular proposition instantly by pointing out that every single person affected by this proposal is already in Australia. There is no security aspect to this. Everyone right now here in Australia who wants to become a citizen, who may be at or close to the 4 years in Australia and 1 year permanent residency, they're already here. Whatever security issues posed by any of those people, that's already something that's happened. We do not benefit in a security sense at all from increasing the permanent residency period from 1 year to 4 years, and we don't benefit in a security sense at all from increasing the requirement to university level English. There is a range of other technical changes that the government's making to our citizenship laws, all of which will make it harder for people already here who want to join our Australian community as citizens. It will make it harder for them, and none of these changes that the government is putting forward have any point to them, except possibly keeping people living in the Australian community already from becoming full citizens and exercising their right to vote, because that, of course, is one of the most important rights that comes with being a citizen. You get the right to vote, and it's quite apparent that this Liberal National Party coalition government does not want people who are wanting to become citizens to have the right to vote, to become full citizens. It's a shameful piece of legislation, and I know that all of you are going to be campaigning as hard as you possibly can to make sure that it doesn't happen. And I'd ask just a couple of things about citizenship, which I think all of you understand. Citizenship is about a sense of belonging to Australia. By becoming a citizen, you say to the rest of the Australian community, I join with you. I accept the rights and I accept the responsibilities and I accept the privileges that come with being a citizen. And why a government would not be wanting to encourage people to become citizens is beyond me. Once the Liberal Party thought that becoming a citizen was something that should happen quickly. And if you go back to the creation of Australian citizenship in 1949, or the way the Menzies government looked at this through the 1950s and the 1960s, the Menzies government, a Liberal government, the other side of politics to me, they believed in citizenship. They made it easier to become a citizen, and that's what should be happening, not making it harder and pretending that it's got something to do with national security. So I'd say to you all, it's a shameful piece of legislation. I'm very pleased to see all of you coming out here. I know that you will speak to your family, speak to your friends and do whatever you can to make sure that as much pressure as possible is brought to bear on the government to get the idea across to them that this is a ridiculous proposal which does nothing for social cohesion, does nothing for national security and should not go forward. Thanks very much.
Many thanks, Mark, for being our voice and representing us at the Parliament.